Evacuation. More than 100,000 men, women, and children, all of Japanese ancestry, removed from their homes in the Pacific Coast states to wartime communities established in out-of-the-way places. Their evacuation did not imply individual disloyalty, but was ordered to reduce a military hazard at a time when danger of invasion was great. 2/3 of the evacuees are American citizens by right of birth. The rest are their Japanese-born parents and grandparents. The people are not under suspicion. They are not prisoners. They are not internees. They are merely dislocated people, the unwounded casualties of war. The time, spring and summer of 1942.
It's an amazing story, a piece of American history that actually it's hard for me to understand the prejudice that existed at the time, and the situation where, you were given a few weeks to give up everything you had to just go to where you had no idea where you were going to go, and they went to camp.
We didn't have any direct relationships with Japan. We grew up thinking of ourselves as Americans, mainly. But we then got influenced by a lot of social values and things like that by our parents. And of course, this is all sort of implicitly because of the language and because we learned English and we were talking to each other in English. And then when we would talk to our parents, it would be very, simple communication, not about life philosophy or anything like that. We got that through their actions.
December 7th, I was studying for my finals. Listening to the radio, there were no TVs then. And what I heard, I just couldn't believe it, The Imperial forces of Japan had bombed Pearl Harbor. And my first reaction was unbelieving, but then, where's Pearl Harbor? I never heard of Pearl Harbor.
All of a sudden, we saw many planes flying directly overhead, and as we looked up, lo and behold, they had a rising sun insignia. We were probably about 12 miles away from Pearl Harbor on a slight hill. We could see black smoke really billowing up in the air and planes darting in and out, in and out. As an 18-year-old American citizen of Japanese ancestry, I said to myself, what are these Japanese doing here, attacking us?
I just heard it over the radio and things like that. And it was a Sunday, so I was afraid to go to school the next day. But we did go to school, and people felt sorry for us, and it wasn't too much of a hassle there in that particular high school.
My name is Karen Kato. My maiden name was Tsurumoto. My mother, Alice Ikeda, was born in Beverly Hills. It was just, at that time, wheat fields. And my father, Jim Tsurumoto, was born in Watsonville, California. My father stayed at my mother's house, sleeping on the couch. The next morning he got up and heard on the radio that Pearl Harbor had been bombed and that all leaves were canceled. Before he left, he asked my mother to wait for him because he had no idea what was going to happen. So she, of course, said yes, and he left. And they didn't see each other till the day they got married.
I was in what they called Dick's house, There was a college infirmary. Well, I was just so stunned. I never expected it, although everybody knew that war was imminent.
No, it didn't affect me. To me, Japan was where my parents were from, not me. I was an American, and I couldn't see how it would affect us.
Oh, I thought it was terrible, like everybody else.
Just wondering what would happen, what was going to happen in days to come.
On December 7, when Grandpa returned from his weekly fishing, the FBI was waiting for him. He was sent to a detention camp in Missoula, Montana, to Lordsburg and Santa Fe, New Mexico. They released him to join the family in Tule Lake Relocation Center in 1943. He returned an old man, which was quite shocking. To this day, I cry when I think of the day when he got off the bus in Tule Lake.
When I went in the house, I was told that my father was taken that noon, as soon as Pearl Harbor was bombed. So they were watching him. And I have a packet like that from the FBI telling all about, they knew where my father was born, they knew what grammar school he went to, what high school, they knew when he got passage to come to America and the name of the ship, all that. And I was surprised that they had all that on him.
I was surprised that my father would be a suspect. He's just a barber. But if you dig further, he was a suspect because his son was in the Japanese Navy. Yeah, you know, if you're a barber, historically it's a gathering place for all the people. They go over there and play chess, or in this case Japanese chess. So people come in and out, in and out. So sounds like he's a leader or something.
I remember the fear and our parents destroying everything that could possibly be misconstrued. The picture of Fujiyama, and my father had pictures of the emperor and empress. Those were burned, and even the Buddhist, family was Buddhist, so we had the Buddhist shrine, and even that, I remember they're chopping up and burning. But as it turned out, nobody bothered us.
But when Pearl Harbor struck, there were people that says, you're an enemy now, and we can't have you work here anymore. And that went on and on and on. I used to help my father on weekends, and pretty soon he would not have any means of any income. Martial law was enacted in Oakland, all over the Pacific Defense Command, and we moved into on Piedmont Avenue, just below where Kaiser Hospital is, and others, all of a sudden, they're gone, and they went. One of them went to up to Florence, where their relatives were still farming. Another neighbor went down to Fresno area, but it was all for naught because they didn't go far enough. And pretty soon, 906s came about, and we were all ordered to all the posters that were posted all over the town, and I didn't want to read all that instructions, such as I found out the word non-alien was used in there. And non-aliens,